Guys, I'm here today to show you how to grease a headset and make your headset a lot buttery and make it spin nice, I guess. Things you're gonna need are some WD-40, maybe, and some grease. Any kind works. This is just the kind that I have. It works pretty well. Of course, your headset. Need your headset. Mine is integrated. Pretty sure this will work with integrated and standard. Your Allen key, of course, top cap. This is just all the parts that you're gonna have. Your shim, of course, and then your bolts, which we're also gonna grease. This one, and then I have this one because it's an extra, but it's bent really bad. I'm gonna get a new one soon. But we're gonna use that, and of course, you want your deck. Yep, mine is an AO. It's pretty nice, I like it. And you're gonna need your forks, of course, which no one really realizes, but you do put grease on the forks. So, here we go. I'm gonna put this up here so you guys can watch. Okay, here we go. Hopefully that doesn't fall. Take your bearings. We're gonna do and your rag and wipe them down. Make sure they're really clean and there's no rocks or any kind of stuff in them at all. So just wipe them down, spin them a little bit while you're wiping them. Kind of just do this motion, put it in there, and it's clean now. See how much grease I got off that. And yeah, you just want to do that for both your bearings, your headset, or not your headset, but your top cap, or your desk cap, whatever you want to call it. Basically anything that would have grease on it, just wipe it down, make sure there's no grease in there, no rocks, no little pebbles or anything. You're just gonna do that with all your stuff. You're just gonna do that with all your stuff. Then I'm gonna take my forks. I'm gonna just wipe them down, make sure there's no dust on them or anything. Make sure they're clean, nice and clean. Okay. And then you're gonna take that little bit of lube or whatever, grease, right? And then you're just gonna take it and then slide it across your fork barely. Not so you get all of it, but just go like that. Rub along your fork. And then what I forgot to tell you is also you want an old toothbrush or some kind of wiping tool. So because once you get the grease on there, you're going to take the toothbrush or the tool that you have and then just rub it in to the forks. Make sure you get it right here because that's where the race sits. Unless you have an integrated race like I do. You're just going to rub the hell out of the forks, and if you don't have enough, just grab a little more, put it on the back side like this. Plus say, rub it in tiny bit with your finger, and then just rub it in again with the brush. Once you get all that done, your fork is completely greased up. That's too much grease, okay? Once you get all that done, that's too much grease. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this down, and you're going to take your headset, slide it in there, kind of rub it around on the fork like that. And you're going to rub it on the race so it gets nice and greasy. Okay. You're going to take it off. And while it's still greased, you're just going to put it back down on the table, upside down, so you don't get grease anywhere. You're going to do the same thing with both bearings. Get the inside of them a little lubed, rub it on the race a little bit, that's what really works. Okay, now that they're both greased, they're upside down. And put the forks on the towel, unless you have someplace you can put the forks where it doesn't matter if it gets greasy. And then you do that. And then you take your deck, where it's integrated right here, you want to wipe those down, bottom and top. So you're wiping those down. Mine are actually pretty clean because I hadn't greased them before, so not really needing to wipe them down, but a lot of times there's a lot of grease, so you do want to wipe it down. And then you take your toothbrush or something, you know, get a little grease on it. And not too much, actually, because if you put too much on this part, it's really bad. You're going to take the hole, and then you're just going to put the grease on the inside of that little cup. Not too much, but you do want to get it a little greasy. Once you've done that, kind of wipe it down a little bit. Make sure it's clean. Only grease on the inside. And then what you do, you take your bottom bearing, put it in the bottom right here like it normally would go. It should fit right in there now that it's greasy. Okay, once that's good, you take your greased up fork, and what you want to do at this point is after you take up your fork, kind of get your towel, and don't rub all of it off, but take a lot of the excess grease off. So you're just barely taking stuff off. See that if you can look really closely, there's still a little bit of grease on there. Then you shove it up through the head tube, the fork, so it's sitting in there like it normally would. Take your top bearing, slide it right on, like that, so it's on top. And then put your crown race back on, or your top crown race, which is the top cap or whatever. Slide this one on. I normally like having the slit in the back facing toward me because that's how the clamp goes. I know it probably doesn't have anything to do with the compression and anything at all, but I don't know, that's just what I like to do. And you take this little thing, goes with the top dust cap, you put it on there, and you put this back on. I also like to have the words of the headset on the headset cap facing forward, just because that's how I am. I just like it forward. My fingers are really greasy, that's why it's so hard. It's also why you want to have this towel, so you can slowly wipe off your hands every now and then. Okay, so once you get that thing on there, it spins pretty nice, right? But it's still a little loose because you haven't got your compression together. Well, take this and you put it on there. No grease at all. You want to make sure your shim does not have any grease on it. And you fit that right on there, just like so, to your top cap. With your top cap, there's a bolt, right? The bolt actually can have a tiny bit of grease on it. You don't want very much at all though. So rub that in there. And really all the grease does is get the threads a little greased up. See how it's not really on there that much? Not even sure if you can see it right, but yeah, there's barely any grease. But what that does is it makes your headset stay together tight, and it also makes it spin a lot smoother because the threads aren't dry against each other. You want them a little good. And then you take your Allen key and you tighten your headset to your preferred preference. I like to tighten it a lot to where it's barely spinning. Rub a little bit, get all the grease going together. Spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it like maybe 10 times. And once you're done with that, just barely loosen it up. Just barely break it up to where it barely comes loose. And bam, you got your headset tightened, greased, and ready to go. Now all you want to do is put on your bars. With your bars, I got the lucky ones still that are in my videos. Just put your bars on, like so. Make sure they're straight. I'll do that right now. Alright, now that you're done with putting your bars on, there's another part you have to grease because, you know, that's part of the video. Anyway, you take your brush again with the grease on it, and you take your SES bolt, HIC bolt, your clamp bolt pretty much, okay? And then you put grease on it. Not too much, just like the headset bolt. You do that with both of them, so there's just a little bit of lube on there. I keep calling it lube, I mean grease, okay? And then once the grease is on there, you gotta make sure your bars are straight again, which they are. Pull it up. Put it right inside of your clamp. I'm gonna hand spin it until you can't crank it anymore. Maybe loosen it up a little bit, get it a little greased up inside of there. And then once you can't do that, you take your other bolt, you do the same exact thing with this bolt. You just dab it on there, make a little bit of grease. I really hope this bolt works though because it's bent, but oh well, here we go. Get it in there, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spinners, which I can no longer do. So then you take your Allen key and you tighten it. And after you tighten that stuff, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry the video was so long. I'll try to cut it down, make it shorter. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. And also comment the things that you might want to see, like scooter checks, scooter reviews, part reviews, edits, park edits, scooter checks, scooter unboxings, anything you want, just comment on the bottom of the page. Okay, out.